Aloha, and welcome to the Murph's Place 808 for the Love of Golf podcast. I am your host, Murph. I hope everybody's had a good week out there this week. Mine has been pretty good. I can't really complain a whole lot. It's been kind of chilly here, though. But other than that, it's been good, minus the golf. I'm really starting to get a little frustrated with not being able to play. So I'll talk about that in a second. But I hope everybody had a good Christmas. And everybody has a safe new year. It's going to be coming up here shortly. My Christmas was pretty good. I can't really complain. Went into the Puka to have some food with the friends and the family, the Puka family there. So that was nice. And of course, I had to try Joe's mashed potatoes, and he did not disappoint. They were very good. So Joe, congrats. Good job on the potatoes. They were not lumpy. I was telling him I do not like lumpy mashed potatoes. They have to be really like whipped creamy. And he was telling me he doesn't even use milk in it like most people will use milk, but he uses whipping cream. So good job, Joe, on the potatoes. And by the time I left, it looked like they were pretty much all gone. So everybody else must have enjoyed them also. So. Other than that, I hope you guys had a good week, and let's talk about Sophia Fia. I know Joe's been sick. Joe P's been sick, and no, I don't believe it's COVID, but he was not able to play on Sunday, and so I don't know if they had enough guys to challenge for the belt or not, but I'll find out from Chris and see who's got it. But as far as I know, it's still sitting in the cart barn, waiting for either Joe to pick it up or somebody else to win it. So Beach Boy, well, VGA golf, we haven't had a tournament. I know I've seen in the Discord server that the guys and girls have been getting together to play here this past couple of weekends since we haven't been playing. I believe our next tournament is the second week in January, and hopefully I will be back in action by then. My ribs are starting to feel a lot better. It doesn't hurt as much to cough or to sneeze. And I haven't really tried to swing a club because I don't want to injure it any further or hinder its healing. So I haven't really swung any clubs or anything like that or hit any balls. But hopefully within the next couple of weeks, I'll be back to playing. And Beach Boys, they played today. They actually played Hawaii Kai, and I know I've talked about it in the past, playing Hawaii Kai. It's been in really, really bad shape the last couple of times I played it. And they played it today, and apparently it was in better shape than what it has been. I know I saw Steve posted something about it the course was better than what they thought it was going to be, so they played there, and obviously I didn't play. Coming up, starting in February, we'll have the Hawaii State Golf Association tournaments will start back up. Now, I was talking to one of the guys from the office the other day, and he doesn't know. We've had some rising number of COVID cases here, so he's afraid that some of the places may cancel, and that's a possibility. I know last year we didn't really have a tournament season; everything got canceled. But as far as the regular schedule, it looks like it's pretty much a go for right now, with the exception of the tournament that they held at Mamala Bay and the tournament they had at Barber's Point. It doesn't look like those guys, as of right now that could change, but as of right now, they have not signed up those two tournaments. But to briefly go over the tournaments that are coming up, starting in February, you're going to have the 4-ball tournament, and the A and B flights will play on Saturday and Sunday, January 22nd or 21st and 22nd. And then the following weekend, the senior flight, championship flight, and the women's flight will play that 4-ball tournament. And then in March, because that's in February, the 4-ball. And then in March, you have the Hawaii State Amateur Tournament. That's going to go from March 10th through the 13th, and that's going to be at Leilehua Golf Course. which I don't ever remember it being played there. Maybe it has been, but somebody can let me know if it has been played there before. But Leilahua is a great course. It's a challenging course, so I'm glad they're going to have it there. And you know what? They may have played it there last year or the year before when they had the tournaments. Anyhow, in April 21st to the 24th, you got the Mid-Pac Open, and that's at Mid-Pacific Country Club up in Kailua. That's a good tournament, and they'll have a pro division and an amateur division. Then on May 2nd, you'll have the U.S. Open local qualifier, and that's going to be played at Hawakale Country Club. That'll be a good tournament. My handicap is never low enough to play in that. I think you got to be a 1 point something to play in it. And, my handicap's not down that low. So I've got to matter of fact, talking about the U.S. Open qualifiers, the U.S. Senior Open qualifier is going to be May 16th. And they're going to have it at Waikele Country Club this year, which I've played in that several times in the past. It's always either been at Hawakale Country Club or it's been at Wailai where they play the Sony Open. But this year it's scheduled to be at Waikele, so that'll be good. That's somewhat of a challenging course, so I got a little work to do to get my handicap down enough to be able to play in that. Then you got the Francis Brown 4-ball match play tournament. That's going to be May 21st through May 29th. On both Saturday and Sunday, both weekends. And then you got the Manoa Cup, June 20th through the 25th. Now, the Manoa Cup's played at Oahu Country Club, which is up on the Pali. Good course. The 1 year that I played in it, I don't play in it very often. I've played in it, matter of fact, twice. The first time I did not make the cut. The second time I did make the cut and played my first match, and the wind, it was raining and the wind was blowing so hard that it's a tournament that you have to walk to. The first day that you do qualifying, you can ride in a cart, but this course is very hilly, and you have to, in match play, you have to walk. You cannot take a cart. Your caddy can take a cart, but you can't ride in it. And I was playing Justin Tapara, one of my buddies, and he's a younger guy than me, and I'm struggling walking up these hills, with the wind blowing in the rain. It was miserable golf, the most miserable golf I ever played. Put it this way, when we made the turn at 10, when we finished 9, we got to the 10th hole, I said, "Hey, you're up 6, right?" And he was like, "No, I'm only up 4. And I was like, "Oh man, I was hoping we were almost done and we could just go right to our cars right from here, right? Because we're close to the parking lot." And he was like, "No, we got to keep playing." So I can't remember. He may have beat me on 10, 11, and then on 12, he had about an 8-foot putt to win the match and to end it. And I almost gave it to him, but he was putting so good that I thought he's going to make it anyhow. So I didn't give it to him. He missed it. So we had to play another hole. And that's the par 5 going uphill. And so we hit our drives, and then we start walking, and I have to physically take a golf club and not stab it in the ground, but put it into the ground to walk up this hill into this wind with the rain blowing. It was 30-mile-an-hour winds. It was crazy. And I end up winning that hole, which drug it out another hole, but he finally closed me out on the next hole. So walking downhill was just as bad as walking up. It was ridiculous. So I've kind of resigned myself from that tournament just for the simple fact that if I win my first match, then the next day I got to walk another 18 holes there. And then if you make it to the final day, they play 36 holes, and there's no way I could walk that course 36 holes. I'm not even sure I could walk at 18. It was ridiculous. At least in that weather, it was bad. But anyhow, the Manoa Cup is a very old tournament. It's been going on for a long time. And there's been a lot of great winners. Brent Grant won that tournament. The guy we follow on Corn Ferry Tour, he won that tournament 1 year. So a lot of good players. Good luck to those guys. I will not be playing that. Now, on June 11th, we have the U.S. Amateur Qualifier, and that's going to be held at Hawakale Country Club. Then the next tournament's not until August 5th through the 7th. That's going to be the Army Invitational Tournament, which is held at Leilehua Golf Course. And that was probably one of my biggest tournaments that I actually did really well on it. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Let's take a short break. All right, welcome back, everybody. But what I was saying was Leilehua, the Army Invitational, has probably been one of my biggest tournament wins. A few years ago, I was playing, and I know I've told this story before, but for those that maybe haven't heard it, that I was playing, and I wasn't playing terrible, but I wasn't playing that great. So going into the last day, I was 5 shots behind a good friend of mine, Sean Sakota. And Sean was playing good golf. And so the last day I got paired up with Joe P. He was in my group. So we're playing, and I mean, we're joking around. He's joking around, and we're laughing and having a good time. And we finished the first 9, and I'm 3 under. So I thought to myself, man, I'm playing pretty good. If I keep it up, if I get some more birdies, maybe I can get into a playoff. Because I didn't think I was 5 shots back, and Sean was playing good, so I didn't think I had a chance to even really win it. But so we kept playing, and same thing. I really didn't think about it. I wasn't thinking about my score or thinking about anything, and then we get to 14, and the tees are up, and it's only like 305 to the green, and I hit my drive right to the fringe, and the hole was pretty close. It was only about maybe like 10 feet on the green. And I made the putt and made eagle. So then I thought, wow, man, if I get a couple more birdies, I might be able to get in this playoff. So the next hole is a par 5. I birdied it. Next hole's a par 4, made par. Next hole's a long par 3. I made par. And then the last hole, I hit, when I hit my drive, I hit it left. And if you know the course, the Leilehua golf course, on 18 on the left-hand side are trees. That's a slight dog leg left. And so I hit my drive like right in the middle of those trees. And I thought to myself, oh, you just messed up, man. You just blew it. And my ball hit one of the trees and kicked right back out into the fairway about 150 yards away. So then I hit a 9-iron up onto the green and made 2-putted and made par. So I finished, I shot 67, 5 under. And I got into the clubhouse, and I ended up winning by like 5 strokes. Sean did not have a very good day. And so that was probably one of my biggest wins. And I guess the whole point of the story is also for like anybody that plays any tournament golf, or anybody that really just plays golf and wants to have fun. You know, the times that I've played my really best golf is when I haven't even thought about golf. I've just had a clear mind and just went up and hit the ball. I didn't think about anything. I didn't think about my score. I didn't think about, oh, great, now I got to make 4 birdies or whatever. That's when I play my best golf. So try not to overthink it too much when you're playing, and just relax and have a good time. And you'll never know what, you may play your best golf. So anyhow, the Army Invitational, that's one of my favorite tournaments. And like I said, it's probably to date been my biggest win as far as tournaments go. August 9th, you got the U.S. Senior Amateur Qualifier. That is also going to be at Leilehua Golf Club. I've never played in the U.S. Senior Amateur. I know in the U.S. Senior Qualifier, you have to have I think it's a 3.4 handicap. And I believe in the U.S. Senior, you can have up to a 10. I think it's a 10 handicap, the U.S. Senior Amateur. So that's August 9th. Then we go off island, to one of the neighbor islands. We go August 26th to the 28th. You got the Kauai Amateur. That's going to be at Wailua Golf Club. And then August 10th through the 11th, you're going to have the Mayor's Cup at Alawai. August? I think that's September. September 10th through the 11th is the Mayor's Cup at Alawai. I know last year they canceled it, so we'll see what happens with this year. Hopefully they'll have it, but like I said, It's kind of it all depends on what these cases do here as far as COVID goes. Then September 24th and 25th, you have the Big Island Amateur at Waikoloa Village over on the Big Island. And then October 8th and 9th, you have the Maui Amateur on Ka'anapali Golf Club over there on Maui. That's going to be the tournament schedule this year, what they have listed so far. There could be some additions or there could be some subtractions from this schedule. We don't know yet. It's like I said, it's going to depend on what goes on with the COVID cases, because if they continue to climb like they have been, there's a very real possibility some of these tournaments may get canceled. So let's hope not. I'd like to get back into some tournament golf. It also gives you a chance to see the guys that you don't get to see all the time. So PGA news. Obviously, there's been no action because of the holidays. And this past weekend, they showed the replays of the Olympics, which was pretty cool because you got to see Schauffele. And I was telling the guys at the Puka that when he hit that, I called that shot on 18 when we were watching the Olympics. And Schauffele had a one-stroke lead. And he hit his drive right in the rough under a tree. And so he had to punch out. And when he punched out, he hit it out into the fairway. And I figured he would leave himself something like 100 yards, 90-some yards or whatever. And it was like 90-something. And so I told the guys that I was watching it with, I said, watch, he's going to hit it behind the hole, spin the ball back to like 3 feet. And sure enough, he hit that shot and it hit past the hole and spun back. I don't know if it was 3 feet, but somewhere around there. And then made the putt to end up winning the Olympics. So that was pretty cool. It was cool to watch that again. So no action for the PGA. Obviously, they got coming up soon is going to be the Century Tournament of Champions over on Maui at Kapalua, the plantation course. I've played that course several times, but I've never went over there for the tournament to watch it or to work it. But after that, they come here to the Sony. And I figured since we didn't have any PGA news that I'd just tell you guys a couple of caddy stories when I was caddying at the Pro-Ams. And that's another thing. If you guys get a chance in your area, if you're not here, if you get a chance, go and caddy at one of the Pro-Ams. And if you could carry a bag and walk 18 holes, and then you should go do it just for the experience, because it's fun. For one, you get to meet a lot of good people. You get to, you're going to have a pro in your group. And a lot of those guys are really personable, and you can talk to them. And you never know, like you may end up getting to play in it someday, like my buddy Chris. Me and Ski always would say, hey, we're going to play in this someday. We're going to play in this someday. And it costs a lot of money to play in them. But at least Chris is getting to play in it. So I figured I'd just tell a couple of caddy stories. The one year I caddied, I think it might have been my second year I came over here to caddy. At that time, I was just coming over visiting from Ohio. And what happens is you go to the caddy tent, and then as the amateurs come in and sign in, if they don't have somebody caddying for them, then they'll have one of us caddy for them. So they'll take about 10 guys over to the pro shop, and as guys come in and sign in, they'll give you a caddy. So the one year, I'm sitting over there, and a guy comes up, and they call me over, and I'm going to caddy for this guy. His name was Rob Moore. Let me back up. Sorry. Before we were going to get a bag in the afternoon. So the morning session, Ski and I just went out and walked around and watched golf. And we came up on a group, and it was Jim Furyk, and he had 4 guys with him or whatever, amateurs. And so they're playing, and as we're standing there watching them tee off, up walks Adam Sandler and a couple other guys. And so we introduce ourselves to him, and I tell him, I'm from Ohio, I just come over to visit and caddy in the Pro-Ams and stuff like that. And so he's like, well, we're watching these guys because those are my producers, and we have a group that's playing them where we have a bet against them. So we're just kind of watching them. I said, oh, okay. So Ski and I walk away, and we start walking, and I tell Ski, as we're walking, I'm like, dude, how cool would it be to get to be in Adam Sandler's group? Because, you know, you see him on the movies of like Happy Gilmore and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, that would be cool. So anyhow, we walk back to the caddy tent, and, you know, so guys are coming in, so they take us over there. And like I said, a guy comes up, they call me over, and his name is Rob Moore. So I grabbed the pairing sheet because I want to see who our pro is, because that's another thing. I've had some run-ins with some of the pros, and the majority of them are cool guys and really personable and talkative. And then I've also had a couple that have not been that way. And so I look on the pairing sheet, and our pro is John Cook. And John Cook went to Ohio State, and I'm a Buckeye fan. I'm like, yeah, all right. So then I look at the names who's playing with us. So it was Rob Moore, Dave Schmaltz, and somebody else, and then Adam Sandler. So Adam Sandler was in my group. So I was gonna be caddying in his group for one of his movie producers. The other three guys were also producers, and so I got to caddy in his group. So as I'm standing on the putting green, because my guy's practicing putting, I see Ski walking over by the cart barn, and he's carrying this real big bag. So I go, Ski, like I wave like for him to come here. And he just looks at me and goes, I know, and waves me off and keeps walking. So he ended up caddying for one of the ladies that was playing in the Pro-Am. And he said, I think after we got done, he was like, I think I raked every bunker on this course. She hit into like a lot of bunkers. So, but it was fun. I got to caddy in his group, and he was fun. I mean, you had guys in the gallery. He was getting ready to hit one time, and somebody said, hit it like Happy Gilmore. And he was like, I can't, you want me to kill somebody? He hit, and he's not a bad player. He's pretty good. And he hit another shot, and as we're walking away, somebody yells out, not bad for a hockey player. Because he was a hockey player in Happy Gilmore. So it was fun. It was a good time. The one year I got to caddy and the pro in our group was Bubba Watson. And so he was really personable. Talked to him walking down the fairway on a few holes. And Adam introduced me to his girlfriend. It was his girlfriend at the time. And then they got married eventually. He would see me. He came out like 4 or 5 years. Now, he didn't remember my name, obviously. I'm nobody. But he did remember. The only way he remembered me, he would call me Ohio. He'd see me, he goes, Ohio. And so that was pretty cool. Got to meet Will Smith, came out one year. He was a nice guy. He was, I was walking up to the putting green. My guy was up there putting, and then Will was walking off. So I introduced myself to him, and he was putting lip balm on or something. And I went to shake his hand. He was like, oh, wait. And he wiped his hand off and then shook my hand. So met him. I met Roger Clemens was there one year. I'm trying to think of his name. Adam said he played the Kings and Queens. Kevin James. Kevin always came out with Adam. And Ski actually ended up hooking up with one of Adam's producers. He was like the head of Sony West or something like that. And he ended up caddying for him like every year. Don Cheadle was there. So yeah, there's been a lot of people. So if you get the opportunity to go caddy in a Pro-Am for one of the PGA events or even the LPGA events, you should go and do that. I did it for probably, I'd say about 8 years. And then my knees just got so bad that it took a toll on me. I couldn't walk 18 holes carrying a bag. And so then I started working with the Golf Channel guys, being a camera driver, driving around and working with those guys, which was great. It was, at the beginning of it, it was a volunteer position, but then the union, I guess, complained about us not being paid. So then they started paying us for the tournament. So every time I'd work, they'd pay us $400 for the 4 days that we were there. So yeah, if you get the chance, you should go do it. Like I said, you're going to meet a lot of great people. I met I met and ended up caddying for him for about 5 or 6 years. A great guy here in Hawaii. Warren Luke. What an awesome guy. And I would have never guessed it, but he's like one of the 10 richest people here in Hawaii. And he's you would never know it. He is an awesome guy. And I really enjoyed caddying for him because he was a member at Wailea, but he was a good player. He actually played pretty good. And so I like caddying for him. And I just got him by chance one year. And then after we got done playing, I told him, I said, hey, I come out every year. If you don't mind, I'd like to caddy for you. And he was like, yeah, give me your phone number. So every December he would call me and ask me if I was coming out because he was going to be playing in it. So I caddied for him for 5 or 6 years probably. Great guy. And like I said, my knees just got to the point that I couldn't do it anymore. So I started working with the Golf Channel guys. Yeah, if you get the chance, you should do it. You're going to meet a lot of great people. And like I said, the majority of the pros I played that I was in our group was great. You know, those guys, the pros play those pro-ams because these guys pay a lot of money. So the pros are supposed to interact with the amateur players, and the majority of them do. But there's been a couple. I'll tell you a story about Vijay Singh. Ski and I was sitting on the bench next to the clubhouse, and Vijay walked by. And as he walked by, we said, hey, hi, Vijay. And he kept walking. He didn't say a word. He looked at us. He didn't smile. He didn't wave. He didn't do anything. He just looked at us like, I don't know. It was not a very nice look, and just kept walking. So even though he was like that with us, when Ski actually had him in his group one year, and he was really good with the amateur players, you know, helping them on stuff, reading putts and stuff like that. So, I mean, those guys are supposed to do that. They do that because, you know, those guys pay a lot of money to play in those, and you get to spend time with the pros and interact with them. So, anyhow, that's my talk for PGA stuff. There's no tournaments going on, so I just thought I'd pass on along a couple caddy stories. No Corn Ferry yet. It's coming up though in February, and I know I say it every week, and I just got to get it done. I want to get Brent on the show and talk to him before the season starts. But I want to find out if he's coming out here for the Sony. That would be cool if he did that. But anyhow, let's take another short break, and we'll be right back. If you haven't heard the new C Money Baby album yet, you're missing the best thing to come out of Ohio since Jim Tressel. Smart Boy, Dumb Decisions is a look into the life of C Money Baby, lately filled with loss, pain, struggle, and danger. The Gym City rapper gives you high-energy bangers and deep, introspective slow jams. To check out the album, just search up C Money Baby. Don't forget the baby on your favorite streaming platform, or visit www.smartboystudios.com. Also, don't forget, Corey Gossett is dropping a song every single week this year. Stay up to date by following him on Spotify or Apple Music by searching Corey Gossett, or look him up on Instagram or Twitter under @KidWhoCameBack. Head to www.smartboystudios.com to stay up to date on new music, new videos, and any upcoming events. If you'd like to support Smart Boy Studios and their artists, head to threads.smartboystudios.com and check out the merch. They have hats, hoodies, shirts, and more. All right, welcome back, everybody. When I was at work the other day, somebody had brought in a bunch of books, and there was a bunch of different ones, and I grabbed 3 of them because they looked interesting. I wanted to read them, but the one that I got is Arnold Palmer Playing by the Rules, and it's basically all the rules of the game, complete with memorable rulings from golf's rich history. So I'm sure this book, I believe it's not a brand. Yeah, this is back. It was copyrighted. It was back in 2002 and 2003. So obviously there's been some rules that have changed, but it'll be interesting to read it. But one of the things I found interesting on it was the third section of Rule 1, Rule 1-3, is probably the most broken rule in the entire rule book. And it reads, players shall not agree to exclude the operation of any rule or to waive any penalty incurred, which obviously that means you can't agree ahead of time to break the rules, which everyone probably does at some point. If like if you're standing on the first tee and say, okay, guys, we're rolling it in the fairway today and all putts in the leather are good, you've broken that rule because all putts have to be holed and you're not allowed to touch your ball when it's in the fairway. So I know that people do it because they want to make it a little more fun for people. Who wants to hit out of a divot in the fairway? But technically, you have to, and if you don't, then you're breaking that rule. So, but the other two books I grabbed was the Open Championship from 2000 at St. Andrews, and that's the year that Tiger won that. And so that book is it's got a lot of different photos of the players that played that year, and they talk about the tournament and what happened. So I grabbed that one also to check out. The last book that I grabbed was Champions and Guardians, the Royal and Ancient Golf Club, 1884 to 1939. This book, what I found interesting about it and kind of caught my eye and made me want to grab it and look at it was this book, there's only so many of them made. They were published in a limited edition of 1,775 copies, of which the first 275 copies are the Society of St. Andrews Golfers Edition. And this book that I have is copy number 1,374. So, and it looks, like I said, I haven't had a chance to go through it or read it or really delve into it, but it looks like it goes through the history of the golf. And like I said, there's only 1,775 of these books. And now I have one of them. So that's pretty cool. But anyhow, I grabbed these three books and do a little reading. Not that I'm that big of a reader. I'd rather watch a movie than read a book. And I don't know if a lot of people feel the same way. I know some of my friends would rather read the book. They like the book better than the movie, but I'd rather watch it than read it. But anyhow, I hope everybody has a good week coming up this week. A good New Year, a safe New Year. Please, if you're going to be out drinking, do not drive. Not only to protect yourself, but to protect other people. And not only that, but DUIs are expensive. So call a cab, get a DOD or a designated driver, or call an Uber. But please do not drive. I want everybody to be safe and to be able to play golf next year without any injuries or any disabilities. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to the podcast. I really appreciate your support. For those supporters that that support the podcast, I appreciate you guys and thank you for that. And I guess I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys have any questions or comments or topics you want me to discuss, please shoot me an email at merceplace808@gmail.com, or you can leave a message on Anchor on the voicemail, and I'll get it that way. If you'd like to support the podcast, there's a link to do that. Please, I appreciate it. It helps me continue to deliver content and to put content out there. And like I said, I want to get it. I'd like to start doing video too, get it on YouTube. But I know I do put it on YouTube, but it's in a audio only file. It's not video. So, but thank you guys. Like I said, if you have any questions, comments, topics, please shoot me an email. merceplace808@gmail.com. Everybody be safe. If you're playing golf, hit them straight, hit them long, but don't hit them often. Aloha, everyone.